Hey guys, welcome to our YouTube channel where each week we talk about matters related to building and growing a healthy marriage. Judith and I have been married for quite some time and it doesn't get old. Every day with Judith is sweeter than the day before. And I mean that. She's a gift to me. Hopefully I'm a gift to her. And this is what this channel is all about. We thought instead of just keeping all this good stuff to ourselves, we could talk with you about the things that we struggle with, the ways in which we find God helping us, and the ways in which we're growing, and pass the blessing along. That's what we're trying to do here on this channel. So we want to encourage you to click the like button, to leave a comment in the comment box. Would love for you to also subscribe, and then if what we're saying you find it so helpful, if you know of other couples who will be equally encouraged by what you're hearing, we want to encourage you to share it with other people. Please go ahead and do that. So Judith, today we want to talk about the ways in which we speak to each other. Some people are able to compliment other people, their loved ones. Some people criticize their loved ones. I was just telling you about this article that I read a few nights ago about a man. He and his wife had been married for quite some time, and he doesn't reveal what the wife did. She obviously did something that bothered him. I don't think it was adultery, because if that were the case, I think he would have said it. It must have been something she did in their relationship, and he was so offended by what she did that he never spoke to her for a whole year. A whole year.
Wow.
They lived in the same house, they continued paying their bills, they went to work, came home, but they never spoke to each other for a whole year. Can you imagine you and I doing that, Judith? I mean, I just cannot imagine that happening. And at the end of that year, the wife then moved out and filed for divorce. Now, we don't know this family's story. We just know what the husband shared in that article. And I'm sure that this marriage was already struggling and in trouble, and this might have been the last straw that finally brought the marriage down. So we thought today, for our time together with our friends Judith, we would talk to them about how important it is to share words of affirmation, to share words that will build up, to complement each other. So Judith, I thought maybe one of the ways we could begin is to say a little bit about what is the difference between a criticism and a word of compliment, because sometimes people feel, well, I mean, I'm just criticizing, I'm not trying to do any harm to the person. What's the difference between a word of affirmation and a criticism?
Well, words of affirmation, as it says, it's affirming, it's building up. So you're building the person up with your words, and criticism is pulling you down. It's cutting you down. That's pretty much what it means.
So are you saying then that you should never criticize a person? I mean, is there a way to criticize someone or something and it doesn't have to be a put down?
Well, that's true. Usually we find that criticism is something, if it's attacking the thing, then it's fine. But if it's attacking the person, that's not okay.
I see. So the criticism is destructive when it's more aimed at the person.
Attacking the person.
I see.
Yes.
I see. So, I mean, let's just be transparent with our friends, because we're going to keep this real all the time. I grew up in a family, Judith, where I had a loving family. But for whatever reason, I never grew up in an environment where we readily complimented each other.
Okay.
And so when you and I got married, I knew immediately your family was different from mine, because you came from a family where you all loved each other as my family did, but you guys were more liberated in sharing and being very open with your words, with hugging and all of that. And literally, you've had to be teaching me how to do that, how to recognize things that are positive and things that will build you up, things that will make you feel good. And so, guys, I'm just telling you, I am still learning to be better at this. I didn't come from a background where that happens, which says a lot. It says a lot about the importance of the family of origin and how that shapes us and influences us in terms of how we behave. So I guess what I would love to ask you then, Judith, is as I'm learning and I've been trying to share words of affirmation with you and to compliment you, how does it make you feel when I compliment you, and why? What are some things that you want to always hear that will build you up and encourage you? Talk about your feelings when I compliment you.
Well, when you acknowledge, I remember when we had kids, and you tell me what a wonderful mother.
And by the way, we still have kids.
Well, yes, we still have
but
kids.
they're big kids now.
Big kids. When they were little ones, you'd always say what a great job I do with the children.
Yes.
And then you'd always say, I look very beautiful. Whatever I put on, you'd say, you always look so good.
Yes.
So words like that would always make me feel special.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. On the flip side of that, I know sometimes when you compliment me, my problem is I tend to dismiss it. You know, if she says, oh, that shirt looks, I say, oh, it's no big deal. Oh, I love when you wear that color. I don't know what it is. Sometimes in me, I tend to dismiss it instead of receiving the compliment. What's up with that, Judith?
Well, just as you said, your background, you were used to that. And now you have to almost like unlearn the fact of maybe there were criticisms and you probably embrace that rather than compliments.
Yeah.
And so I think that if you keep learning, as you say, you are learning how to accept it, to accept affirmation, accept when somebody says something to you that they really are speaking the truth and they really genuinely believe in you. Like I tell you all the time, I think you're a wonderful pastor, and I really mean that. And I think because you know it's coming from a heart of love, I think you're more understanding and learning to accept that much more.
And that is true. That is exactly right. I'm learning to, first of all, even just say thank you, genuinely to receive it and to say thank you because the person is acknowledging something very good about you and to be able to say thank you. You know, that leads to another question on my part, because if you're already in a home where you have mom and dad, if there are children in the home and mom and dad already have difficulties saying words of affirmation to each other and complimenting each other, chances are the parents may end up doing the very same thing to the kids. What does that do to children when the parents in a home criticize and put their kids down?
Well, if the parents are modeling criticisms, meaning that they're husband criticizing wife, wife criticizing husband, and the kids are around and they hear that over time, it becomes the norm of that house. The children learn to also criticize, and you'll find them do it at school, and they'll do it to other people, and they will do it to their own siblings.
Right.
Also, they will find themselves being very, feel like they never ever accomplish anything, that they feel like they're a failure, and depending on what the parents say to them, they'll internalize that and start building up. Sometimes you can develop low self-esteem. And really make them feel like they'll never measure up.
Yeah. So this is a real issue then. I mean, this is not something we're just pulling out of the air. This is something that we have observed within ourselves that we've been working on. This is something we've observed within families that we've worked with, where, as you like to say, Judith, when people are hurt, they want to hurt other people. But it doesn't have to be that way, right? No. It doesn't have to be that way. So there is a difference. Often if somebody gets criticized, you said earlier that it can also, in an earlier conversation, you said that sometimes criticism and contempt go together.
Yes. Whenever you start finding a husband or a spouse or a wife starting to criticize each other on a regular basis, what starts to happen is that the level of respect for each other just is diminished.
Yes.
And the person they criticize the person so much that they themselves develop a contempt, and they don't. It's almost like they look down on the other person. And they're like, you don't have any sense. You're not very smart. And after a while, they start having such deep disrespect for the person that they usually say that's the level of contempt, and that leads to something even worse in the marriage, and which is stonewalling. And people, those marriages don't flourish very well.
No, not at all. In fact, what you said earlier is that when somebody affirms you, you feel like what affirmation is. It's almost like oxygen to a marriage.
Yes.
You want to say more about that?
Why I feel it's so important, because anytime you take away compliment and affirmation in a marriage, if you see any couple, I sometimes would hear couples, they're out in public and they would say something terrible about their spouse, and you literally see the ear come out of that person. They just feel deflated. And so it's very important for us to watch the words that we use. And you see, this is the flip side of that is the compliment. When somebody's complimented and say, wow, my wife looks so beautiful, or wow, you did such a great job. You just literally see the person, almost like somebody just inflated a balloon.
Yeah.
That's the image that comes to my mind with compliments. To your children, to your spouses, to friends. It really does make the person feel worthy.
Yeah. So that's where we want you guys to go with your relationship, whether it's with your spouse or with your children. We want you to share words that build up, not break down. So Judith, what are some phrases you would recommend that could be shared that will feed the soul, not destroy the soul?
Well, words that there's so many
phrases.
Phrases. There's so many phrases. I have a few here. Like I just want to let you know I'm so proud of you. Children love that.
Yes.
No matter if they didn't get a high grade or something.
Yes.
Or even for a spouse. I'm so proud of you, honey, when you did that. I remember one time you fixed put in the microwave. My husband is not a fix-it person, and he went and fixed the microwave, installed it, and I was like, wow,
yeah.
You installed the microwave, and that that's like a compliment.
Yes.
It's affirming what you
Yes.
that you did a good job. You are so special to me. I'm really impressed when you could say whatever that thing is. Did I tell you how grateful I am that you are my partner? For a spouse to hear that, words like that, I just wanted to let you know how I really appreciate every time you compliment me.
Yes.
Even for that, that's another one. I feel so loved by you when you do whatever that thing is. You buy me flowers, or you prepare a lovely meal. And I love when you do the dishes. Just simple compliments like that can really enhance a marriage.
The one phrase that we want to challenge couples to begin working on, and I want for you, it's 3 words, guys. It's 3 words. I love you.
Yes.
And we were talking about what would be one practice we want couples to start working on today. Wouldn't you say that would be the phrase?
Yes.
And the thing about this is a habit. To develop a habit, this is what the experts say, it takes about 30 days.
Yes.
So every day through the month of September into October, for 30 days, I want to challenge you guys to say this to each other. I love you. And I know it's going to feel awkward. If you're not in the pattern of doing this, it is going to feel awkward. But I'm telling you, keep working at this, because your words indeed will make a difference.
Yes, and not just I love you, but why do I love you?
Why do I love you?
Because, and not in spite of. I love you because.
Right. Right. That's so very good.
Yes.
Let me close with this one verse, Judith. This is from Proverbs chapter 16 and verse 24. It says, "Pleasant words are like a honeycomb,
Yes.
sweetness to the soul and health to the body." Let me say that again. Proverbs 16:24, "Pleasant words are like a honeycomb, sweetness to the soul and health to the body."
Yes.
And that's what your words can do to your spouse. That's what your words, when they're fitly spoken, when they are words that affirm and build up, they can bring sweetness and health into your marriage. If you don't do it though, you're only going to destroy your relationship. And especially if you have children, they're going to be learners of not so much what you tell them, but they're going to be learners of what you're doing, what they see you modeling. So my friends, I want to encourage you today to build up your marriage, grow your marriage, strengthen your marriage by speaking words of life and words of hope and words that will fill that person up with joy. Okay? So that's what we wanted to talk to you about today. And again, let me remind you to click the like button. We want to encourage you to subscribe to our channel. And most of all, this is really what would be a blessing to us, if you would be willing to share what we have said with others so that they can be encouraged too. If there's anything we can be doing to help you in this area, reach out to us and let us know. Send us a message by email, or you could send us a message on Facebook Messenger, and we would be more than happy to reach back to you and begin to encourage you in your journey. All right? God bless you now. You take care.